like clock. I can't stop. Fuck around, make my 40 pop.
Guys, we have even more spoilers about the Mujin Bandits arc, and it's definitely heating up, especially with these two episodes right here. It seems like, I wouldn't necessarily say this is the climax of the Mujin Bandits arc, but this is definitely some very good content that I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are going to be excited about. And without further ado, you guys already know, these spoilers were translated by Organic Dinosaur. You can follow her on Twitter. The link is going to be in the description below. But without further ado, let's get into the actual spoilers. Now, the title of episode 146 is Carrying Out the Prison Break. Into the actual spoilers, it says, even though Sada ought to have been preparing and making arrangements for the jailbreak, they haven't received a signal from her to indicate that the setup is complete. In addition, the arrival time is approaching for the boat that they will be using for their escape. If they miss out on this opportunity, their plans will be completely ruined. Boruto thinks that they can't afford to put a hold on their plans. He believes in Sada and decides to proceed as planned alongside Kokuri and Team 7's Mitsuki. Meanwhile, Sada gets dropped down into a cellar in the Hozuki Castle, and the impact of the fall causes her to lose consciousness. Alright, now here's the thing, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys probably forgot about the previous episodes that are going to be leading up to this, so I'll pretty much explain that to you guys extremely quickly right now. The problem is the person that they're trying to protect, Kokuri, he's going to be shipped out to the second Hozuki Castle. Now, the problem with him being shipped out to the second Hozuki Castle is the fact that there are multiple Mujin bandits in that prison waiting for him to pretty much off him right then and there. So Boruto and everybody else, they're trying to prevent that from happening. So the next best thing was for them to pretty much try to break out of prison, and that's exactly what they're going to do right here. Now, off the rip, my opinions about this episode is definitely over the moon, man, because I'm extremely excited about the tension and the overall atmosphere of this Mujin Bandits arc. I spoke about this multiple times before, but just the fact that we don't necessarily need a lot of action for everything to be extremely interesting, it's just so enlightening. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love action, but just the tension that's built up right here, where they need Sada to complete her end of the bargain, but she gets knocked out at the bottom of a cellar. No one really knows if everything is going to go right. It's just that much more interesting. But regardless, I believe Sada's going to pull through, because we've seen multiple times where Sada was in a very tricky situation. One of the most famous times, in my opinion, is when Sada and Boruto, they were being controlled by a synthetic human being back in the Mitsuki retrieval arc, and she basically had Sada and Boruto fight against each other. Now, the time when she wanted to end everything, she basically had Boruto swing a sword at Sada's neck, about to kill Sada, but Sada again pretty much pulled a rabbit out of her hat, put herself in a genjutsu, and then broke the genjutsu from the original caster, and then broke Boruto out of the genjutsu as well. Finds a way to come through. I definitely do think that these are going to be one of those times, you know, clutch situations where Sada just comes up big. And one of the things that I'm super happy to see is the fact that Boruto believes in Sada this much. I mean, as it said, I mean, everybody's pretty much saying like, hey, we got to do something, we got to figure something out, but he's like, no, I think that Sada's going to pull through, and of course, hopefully she will in the end, but Boruto's belief in Sada in this episode is going to be absolutely amazing to see. And of course, all the Boruto Sada fans out there, I probably wants them to get married and have kids or something like that. You guys are going to be extremely happy about this episode as well. But without further ado, let's get into the next episode, episode 147. Now, this episode title is going to be The Moonlit Decisive Battle. Into the actual paragraph, it says, right in front of Boruto and the others who are waiting for the boat, Tsukio is standing in front of their way. He's been referred to as the one who wields the true power of being the number 2 of the Mujina. Even though Boruto and the others engage him in combat in order to protect Kokuri, Tsukio's Tsukikage no Jutsu is causing them some trouble. By using it, Tsukio can manipulate the enemy's silhouette and make them battle against clones that possess the exact same strength as theirs. While Boruto and his comrades are preoccupied with fighting against their own clones, Tsukio approaches Kokuri with the time limit for their escape drawing nearer. Will Team 7 be able to figure out a way to defeat their formidable enemy, Tsukio? Alright, now this episode seems to be a very good one. They're not necessarily going to be fighting against Tsukio, at least for the whole part of it. It seems like Tsukio, the number 2 in command in the Mujin Bandits, has this very extremely strong jutsu where he could pretty much make them fight against their own clones, which is absolutely insane. Now, recently I have been watching Naruto Shippuden to pretty much catch up and sharpen up on my knowledge about the whole series of Naruto, but I'm pretty sure you guys remember the scene when they're pretty much about to break into the Akatsuki hideout, and then Team My Guy pulled off the seals, and right after they pulled off the seals, they had to fight against their own clones. Now, in that particular situation, they had to go full strength to pretty much beat their own clones. Now, let me explain that a little bit more. They were trying to fill out the enemy at first, and because the filling out process was taking so long, of course, it was a very odd scene fighting against your own clone. They got extremely tired, and once they figured out, hey, if I just fight above what I was fighting at when I was filling out this guy, then I could possibly beat him. This might be one of the exact same situations right here. Now, I do want to point this out. It's definitely not the same jutsu. It's not going to be the same thing that they're fighting against. So the clones in the overall jutsus might have certain things different from one another, but it's still the fact of them fighting against their own clone, and we understand how difficult that could possibly be. Even jonins like Might Guy and Neji, they couldn't necessarily figure it out until episodes later. So now it's going to be an extra stressful situation where these guys are going to be fighting against themselves, but they're also fighting against the clock because they're trying to break out of prison, and also they're trying to protect Kokuri. So not only are they fighting against themselves, they have to do multiple other things on top of that to complete this mission. I'll give it to you guys straight. It's looking dim. It's looking very, very dim and very, very grim for the overall mission. Of course, it's not going to be an easy feat to complete this mission because of the situations that they're in right now. I definitely do want to see how they can possibly overcome this, or if they're going to actually fail this part of the mission. Let me know what you guys think about these 2 episodes in the comment section below. These, in my opinion, will probably be the best 2 episodes of the overall arc thus far. Let me know what you guys think, but it's me, your boy Baara B, and we out.
It's a knife.
Check my clock, I can't stop. Fuck around, make my 40 pop. No popcorn, I pop pistols. Reaming my body, clothing no issue. Bitch, you look sick, you need a tissue. You drop a body, I just might bless you. I'm metrosexual, no high cholesterol. Where's Jenny Craig? Bitch, just get sexual.